First of all, I wanted to welcome everyone. We haven't done a webinar in a really long time, and so I appreciate everybody coming here. Before we start, I want you to look at the disclaimers, and please follow me. Trading futures and options involves substantial risk of loss. It's not suitable for all investors. Past performance not necessarily indicative of future results. The risk of loss in trading commodity interest can be substantial. So you should really consider if whether such trading is appropriate for you. Use only risk capital, and just remember these are very leveraged markets. Okay, Bruce, you can remove the picture. It's absolutely fine now. Okay, thank you. Okay, guys, so let me tell you a little bit about, Bruce will do a better presentation of the product himself, but I wanted to tell you why I brought Bookmap specifically and why we've added it to our platform selection. The guys from Bookmap approached me, I would say probably about 2 years ago. And, this was around the time that everybody was using indicators. And in my personal opinion, at the time, there were so many indicators that were just not necessary. They were expensive. I don't think they've added anything, any value or anything of that sort. So anything that was indicator-based, I just kind of put it aside. But over the last 2 years, as I've been following Bookmap, been following the guys that build the product, talking to them more and more, it really gave me the confidence that this is a really different type of product. Specifically, I look at the challenges of day trading, and I always look at every product objectively to see, can this product help a customer? We know that there's no guarantees behind winning, but when I started really digging into it and learning the product and what it stands for and talking to the guys behind it, and I've actually traveled to Chicago from Florida for the FIA meeting, and I was there. This is where I met Bruce as well, and this is where I had a further chance to understand what's going on with the product, what it does, how it can help traders. It absolutely fascinated me. So I took on the idea of, okay, we have to add this. So during this presentation, that those of you who have joined, that I promised that we're going to give one lifetime license and one yearly license. I'm going to tell you at the end of the webinar how to win this. However, in order for you to win it, I'll give you a hint, okay? Listen very, very carefully to the presentation, okay? Listen to all the facts, listen to what Bruce has to say, and basically write it down. And at the end of the webinar, I'll tell you how to go about it. So without further ado, I'm going to silence my microphone. I'm going to give a chance to Bruce from Bookmap the stage to show what this product is, how it works, and then you'll have a chance also to ask him questions. I kindly request, okay, and this is something that I do at the beginning of every webinar, and it always, nobody listens, but I hope this time you guys will. Give him the first 30 minutes to present without questions, and then later on, after the first 30 minutes, he will give you a chance that you can come in and you can ask him anything you want, and you'll answer it as well. Okay, guys? So grab a pen and paper, start writing down the facts, and here's Bruce. And Bruce, thank you for coming here today. I really appreciate it.
Okay, thanks, Matt. And yeah, thanks for the opportunity. Looking forward to going over Bookmap and okay, so let me bring up the presentation. Can everyone hear me, first off? Just picture too small. All right, I mean, I'm full screen here. I'm hoping you guys can see everything. Yes, fine. Okay. Okay, great. All right. I think we're good then. Okay. Okay, so we're going to go over learning how to trade order flow with Bookmap. Yeah, risk disclaimer, Matt has already read it, but trading futures and options on futures involves substantial risk of loss and not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not indicative of future results. The resources are there. A little bit about myself. I've been trading for about 9 years in a variety of markets. I've looked at just about everything, as Matt was speaking of earlier, many of the indicators out there. I started to gravitate toward the market profile and the footprint charts, studying volume, but there just seemed to be something lacking there. Was turned on to Bookmap and started to really understand the opposite or the other side of the order flow, not just the traded volume, and starting to understand how that affects price. Okay, and we're talking about the limit orders, the buyers and the sellers, and we're talking about the liquidity, and we can present that for you in the Bookmap chart window. Okay, so this wasn't possible years ago. It is now. It is a lot of data points. However, we have a complex event processor that allows you to very easily look at all of these data points without any lag. All right. So anyway, I lead the Bookmap trading education and have become an expert in the order flow and market microstructure. Today's agenda, okay, we're going to look at these charts here and we're going to understand what we're looking at. All right, not much more than that, just an introduction here to Bookmap. We're going to integrate order flow within any of the time frames or trading methodologies, and then we're going to go over how to read that order flow in Bookmap. All right, and there's a sneak peek here, a new release for you guys. This is the first time we've released this or mentioned this publicly, a new programmable API for developing automated Bookmap, and I'm going to show you a few examples of that in action. All right. Okay, so intro to Bookmap, and I'm going to just start off very basic here. The order book plus the heat map is Bookmap. Okay, the order book is the DOM. All right, so we're going to compare it to a typical DOM here, and then I'll explain Bookmap's version of this. Okay, so let's look at a traditional DOM here in TT, and this is a screenshot I took yesterday. Here is the depth here on the bid. All right, inside market is right here. This is your best bid at 44 at 22.55 and a quarter. Best offer at 55.50. Okay, 110 here. And the last traded volume is 51. Okay, most of us are pretty accustomed to looking at this kind of data. Now in Bookmap, we have the same data over here in the data columns. Okay, we have a lot of other data to analyze as well, but we won't really cover that too much. So the current order book column here is the inside market right here. Okay, and you can see it across here as well. Okay, so 44 on the bid, all the way down to 53 down here. This white line, this is the entire depth on the bid. Okay, and the entire depth on the offer is here, all the way up to this white line. Okay, and you can see how these match up: 195, 195. Okay, 110 here on the best offer, 110 here in the TT DOM. All right, and 561 and oops, I'm sorry, 199 here for at 53 even, and here it is in Bookmap. Okay, the last traded volume is in the current market window, this little sliver right here, where you can see that the best bid and offer right here. I'll show you all of this in just a moment here, but this is the last traded volume, 51, and that matches with TT. Okay, that is the order book. Okay, now we give the order book a graphical representation. Okay, and then we transpose that onto the historical chart. A little more basic detail, so what you're looking at in this heat map is the historical evolution of the liquidity that's all derived here from the limit order book. Okay, so before I get into this, let's take a quick look at Bookmap. All right, so here's the Bookmap chart, and I'm just going to focus right now on the historical view first. Okay, there's a lot of things going on here, and I'm going to simplify this. Okay, I'm going to take off all of the traded volume. Okay, and then I'm going to take off all of the heat map as well. Okay, so what are we looking at now in this historical view? We're just looking at historical best bid and offer. That's it. Okay, you can see current best bid and offer right here with the dashed lines and the last traded volume here. Okay, all of this was a historical price. Okay, so that's pretty simple. That's pretty straightforward. You can see between each vertical dotted line here, we have an hour worth of data. Okay, so I've been collecting this data all day long here for the S&P E-mini. All right, so now let me go to the studies configuration, and I'm going to turn on the volume dots. Okay, we have a lot of different volume studies here, but won't get into that. I just want to show you what we're displaying. We're displaying where the volume took place. Okay, so you can see these clusters is very much like a footprint chart. Okay, we're all accustomed to, or most of us are accustomed to looking at a footprint chart. Those are numeric values on the chart that show how much volume traded at those levels. Okay, we're showing the same thing here in Bookmap. However, it's just graphical instead. Okay, so we can start to read the clusters and the flurries of activity that took place in some of these areas. And you're going to see that refer to the, for example, a footprint chart. Okay, and you'll see where there's a flurry of activity, there's going to be higher numbers there in the traded volume. We have many different ways of displaying this volume. I'm going to zoom into this little area right here. This was the high of the day. Okay, and start to zoom in here and start to get a feel for exactly what traded here. Right, and you can see that we have green dots which are aggressive market buy orders that took place on the best offer, and then the red dots are aggressive market sell orders that took place on the best bid. Okay, when you see a dot that's this pie shaped display in this little area here, that we're just giving you the overall delta of that area. Okay, so you can see here that there was more buying here, aggressive buying, than there was selling. Okay, now if we've aggregated this data here only graphically. Okay, this is one of the beauties in Bookmap is we're going to zoom into this area. Okay, and we're going to start to expand the timeline here, and you can see how we're starting to drill down, and I'm going to show you exactly what transpired here. Okay. We're going to continue to zoom in, okay? And we'll just continue to zoom into these areas, and you're going to start to see and understand. Now we're down here, look at the timeline, okay? We're down at the microsecond level, all right? This is how this market traded here, exactly. 125 contracts traded on the best offer, okay? So now as I start to zoom out, notice how I'm overlaying all of these dots upon each other, and I'm giving you the basic overall feel for what occurred there by the size and color of the dot. Okay, and as I continue to make this chart higher and higher time frames, I give you the overall here. Okay, so that's the way that Bookmap is displaying the volume. Okay. So we start with that historical, just the best bid and offer, and now we're just showing volume on that historical best bid and offer. Okay, we're pretty accustomed to looking at that view. Now, where it gets interesting is starting to look at the heat map. Okay, so the heat map is giving you the history of not the traded volume, but where they were bidding and offering. Okay, that would be rather difficult to see in a dome. You'd have to remember these numbers. You'd have to remember where they were flashing, where that liquidity is being added and pulled, how long they stayed at those levels, and if more added into that area or pulled from that area. All right. So let me go back to current market. Okay. And I'm going to switch on the heat map. All right. So now what you're looking at, and this is the close. So actually, I'm going to veer away from that and just go back in time a little bit. Okay. And we can see here that in this area up here, for example, there were some very interested sellers. Okay. This white line here, and we'll just zoom in a little bit further. Okay. Represents very high liquidity at that moment, okay, at 2264. Okay, we can see that this area here was much higher than the other areas around it. Okay, almost 900 contracts here at this level. Okay, compared to 500, 300, 500, 474 up here. Okay, so we've identified that very high liquidity, and we can see and we can read how long they stayed in the market. This gives you understanding of the intent of these traders at these levels. Okay, we're starting to read now the auction, and we're starting to understand the larger players who stay in the book, who want to trade at these levels, instead of just algorithmic activity that stays in the book very quickly and then jumps out. All right, and this is going to give you an advantage because look at how any retests up into this area, these guys are up here ready to absorb. All right, and they stayed in the book. And why did they stay in the book? I mean, they stayed in the book because this is a FIFO market. Okay, it's first in, first out. So if these larger traders want to trade, they're going to keep their place in line. All right. So we'll just kind of use that reasoning and that logic there. Let me go back to the presentation here just a minute. Okay. Okay. So now let's take a big step back. Okay. So I showed you everything that Bookmap is showing, right? And let's just go over why is order flow important. Okay. You might be looking at all sorts of different strategies. It doesn't really matter. But you're going to want to look at the book, the auction, and the traded volume when it's time to enter, to exit, or to manage your trades. So this really works, or order flow works within just about every or any trading methodology. Okay, and it's really good to have your macro structural view. Okay, you're looking for however it is that you trade, your methodology. You want to look at the order flow at your levels of interest. Okay, so for example, let's let me make this a bit smaller, and let's bring up the ES. Okay, we were looking at this level here for the last couple of days at 2259 as being important. Okay, and you can see that it was even today. All right, so that was a level of interest. Well, let's take a look at the book. What does the book tell me at those levels? Okay, so I zoom out now, and where's 59? Right here. Okay, so you can see price. You can see them starting to bid in these areas here, down at 59. All right, and you can see the clusters of volume that are trading. We don't get a retest down in some of these areas here from the open. Price accepts above some of these areas, and then these guys pulled. They stayed in the book here around this area, and they pulled that liquidity. Okay? That allowed price to continue to the downside, and then we can see here that this level in this area here, price came back up and retested into that area, and we just get a lot of sideways action, basically. All right. Anyway, this pulling of that longer-term liquidity is going to give insight here. There's a lot of other phenomena in here that we're going to go over, but let me continue on and show you. Okay. Yeah, so integrating this microstructure within the macro picture, okay, not just for scalping, right? And that's going to be able to, that's going to allow you to pinpoint your entries, your exits, and your trade management. Okay, so how to read the book. Okay, all of this new information we're going to ask the 3 questions here, and then we're going to go through them just rather quickly here and show you how to read the book. All right, and we're going to ask the first question: what is the current configuration of the book? Okay, and then how does the book behave when price approaches these areas? And then finally, most of us are accustomed to just looking at the traded volume, but we're gonna look at that and see what the tape is telling us. Okay, you can see this is only 1/3 of the equation, right? So this is where Bookmap is going to be able to help you, because you're going to be able to understand the other side of the order flow that you couldn't read before. All right, so let's just zoom into a level up here. Actually, you know, we were looking at this level earlier today and answering the question of, it was right around here, what is the current configuration of the book? Okay, the auction. Okay, that longer term high liquidity, where is it? All right, we can answer that very, very easily up in this area. Okay, because we've filtered the heat map to show. Here, I'll just bring up the large size and bring down the brightness. Okay, and you can see how quickly we can identify the configuration here. The majority of the liquidity is up here at 68 1/4. Okay, on the bid, the majority is down here at this 64 1/2. Okay. Okay. How does it behave when price comes down into those areas where they have that intent to trade? Did they pull? Did they add liquidity in? Let's zoom into this area here, and we saw nice day today. We saw a lot of algorithmic activity here. And you can see these guys at 64 1/2 wanted to trade. Okay, they stayed in the book in this area as price is coming down and traded into these areas. You can see the transactions that took place here. Okay, and you can see the initial reaction that price had as it bounced up out of that area. Now we're starting to read the other side, though, and you're starting to read the offer. You can see from 68 1/4 here. They stayed in the book, but other traders got more aggressive and they lowered the offer to 66. Okay, now we have a new auction. We're starting to channel between 66 and 64 1/4. Okay, this is where it gets interesting. Okay, this little area here. Notice these guys at 64 1/2. Okay, they pull their liquidity. Okay, and we know that this is high probability. It's one individual actor or algo that pulls the liquidity from this level. At the very same moment, it lowers it to 1 tick below, and it continued to do that. Okay, so their intent to trade at this level is no longer valid. Okay, and we can read that. It's right in front of us. The way that you would see this in the limit order book over here is you just see a lot of numbers change very quickly. And that's about it. Now, looking at the time frame here, this is 5 seconds worth of data. Okay, so you know, that's consumable by just looking at the chart. I mean, we saw it in real time, right? And then on the other side here, on the offer, okay, they they were at 66, and you can see at the same moment they pulled from 66 and got more aggressive. With higher liquidity here at 65 3/4. Okay, this was the opportunity here for the aggressive sellers to hit the bid and try to find this liquidity down here at 63. Okay, they did not until a little bit of time passes. They get a little more aggressive here at 65 now, and then finally they do. A little more algorithmic activity, as you can see here. Okay. And let's zoom out now, and let's get a bigger picture perspective. We get one more test to the highs here, and then that was it. We see the continuation to the downside the rest of the day. Okay, so this was an important level up here. All right. Okay. Let's see. Reading the tape. So we can read the intent, we can make the distinction between the current configuration of the book with that high liquidity. We were also reading the tape. Okay, so if I zoom into this high here and read that traded volume, this is very indicative of a trending higher market. These flurries of activity trading at higher highs. Okay, can everyone see that? Right? Compare it to some of these higher lows here in these areas here. You can see that very little traded, if any, right here at this little swing just before 11:15. Okay, but a lot of volume trading up at these higher highs. Okay, and what we noticed, and in real time here, okay, was that this structure of higher highs started to dwindle. Okay, we did not take out the higher high up here, and then look at the flurry up here at this little tip. Okay, very little volume trading. Okay, so this is reading that tape, understanding that there's little trading up here that cannot break the high. Well, this is a chance for the sellers. Okay, and that's exactly what they do. We get a shift in that order flow, flurry of activity here at a lower low that is made in the structure. And what do? We come right back down to where we were channeling between the 64.5 and the 68.25. All right. So hopefully some of these things will help you read the tape and the auction process. But that's the gist of it, and let's just move on here. I mean, there's so much more to look at. We did look at some of the algorithmic activity and a little bit of the order flow structures here, and we actually did look at some of the granularity as well. So let's just continue on, because I want to get to the next, okay, the sneak peek to the Bookmap API. Okay, this is new functionality that we're just making public right now. All right, so this is able for programmers and traders to trade automated strategies within Bookmap, and it's only in beta version right now. Okay, and it will be available for all with the new release of Bookmap, or the new build of Bookmap tomorrow. Okay, and you will see it up here with this button. Okay, the trade strategies configuration. All right, so actually I'm going to switch over to the NASDAQ. It's a little, well, a lot less liquid. We have the market closed here at 5. Okay, that's not good. I thought I would have a little bit more time to show you exactly how these operate. Well, there's some trades that I took, and I can show you that. But we'll click on this button, and you can see here that we have 3 different strategies. There's chase, escape, and execution, or execute. Okay, and you can add other strategies here. All right, so let's click on chase, and I'm just going to go over the basics of what this is. Okay, so the chase algo is exactly what it means. What it says there. It chases the market with my order that I place, a limit order I place into the marketplace. Okay, so it'll chase price. There's some settings here for it, and this one's rather simple. Okay, keep my limit order at a distance not larger than, and you can input your value here, 3 ticks from the best price level. Okay, so for example, let's say you see something in the market at a level down here, and you wanted to get filled. Okay, but you missed it, right? Well, you're looking maybe for a retracement back into that area. Okay, well, if I placed my trade down here, let's say I place it down at 55 here. Okay, what's going to happen is the algo is going to chase price up, and then it's going to just wait at that level. Okay, and I can either choose best price or last price, and then back on the retracements, my order will be waiting there to get filled. Okay, If price continues to go back up, my order will follow by 3 ticks. Okay, looking for those pullbacks. All right. Next one here, escape. This one's a little more complex. Okay, but this is going to give you a nice advantage using Bookmap. All right. So if I place a limit order here, let's say on the bid, let's say I'm bullish. Okay, and this is 1 tick. Away from the best price or the best bid. All right, and then the algo starts to read the price levels and the liquidity at those levels. Okay, it'll make a calculation for 3 levels. Okay, by the inputted value here, and then it compares those 3 levels to the other side on the offer. Okay, if those 3 levels on the bid, where my order is, okay, at that moment, 1 tick away from the current price level, okay, if it's 60% or less than 60% compared to the offer, well, then the action for the algo is to move my order down 1 tick away from the market. Okay, so what I'm doing basically with the escape is I'm letting the algo take me away from the market until there's an imbalance and that there is liquidity that supports the buy side. Okay, if there's no liquidity, I don't want to get filled. So that way you can find a better fill at lower levels. Okay. All right, the execute algo. Okay, this is a little more complex as well, but what it does is let's say you place your limit buy down at 55 again. Okay, and as price starts to veer away, then let's say I want to aggressively, I want in, I want to be a buyer, I want to go long. If price starts to move away, but there's an imbalance in that book, that's when I'm interested in order entry. Okay, so what the algo would do is it makes a calculation again for 3 price levels. Okay, on the offer versus on the bid. Okay, if it's stacked so that more than 200% or greater or any inputted value here is calculated, then what the algo does is it places my order 1 tick before the best bid. Okay, so you'll just it waits for this imbalance, and it allows you to take advantage of that imbalance. Okay, so if the book all of a sudden becomes very stacked at a higher level, then your order will immediately jump up into that imbalanced level at a very aggressive level here, best bid, basically. Right? Okay. Okay. Well, I can see we're going to have to demo those in the live market perhaps another time, but that's basically it. Right. So Bookmap is available with Optimus Futures here. It's a completely free 10-day trial. Okay, you do not need a credit card, and in that sense, I mean, it can't be much more risk-free than that. You know, not even putting down the credit card number. Right. So give it a try. You get those 10 days out of it, and see if this is something that works for you. Right. All right. Open it up for questions. Let's see. Dean. Hello, Dean. Yep, I recognize you. Okay. Yeah, we'll have to go over that again, I think. Mike, yeah, it works with CQG. No problems there. Let's see. Okay, just some sound problems, and that's about it. Let's see. Adnan, is there any way to use total number of contracts in the COB with order flow in Bookmap? Uh, Absolutely. I mean, this API allows you to do basically anything you want there. Okay, so the examples that I'm showing you here, it really is. This is not. These are just examples. Okay, and the intent here is just to show you some of the capabilities. Okay, that you can use here to build your own algos. Okay, so what we're allowing you to do is now you have all this data here in that limit order book, and you're going to be, it's all visualized for you, and you're going to see exactly where your trades are taking place and any imbalance or whatever strategy is you're looking for from that order book. The data is here, it's visualized, and now you have automated strategies as well. Mike, cost is, there's two different versions. There's the basic and the advanced. Okay, the basic version is $49 per month, and the advanced is $99 per month. However, they are billed quarterly, so please note that. Okay. Okay, and let me also take you to, if you guys have some questions about some of these automated strategies, I want to show this. Okay, bookmap.com under strategies, you'll see the Q&A here, and you can read about these in more depth here. Okay, so for example, that chase strategy gives an explanation of it. Okay, go down a little bit further, and you're going to see the FAQs here, and this will probably answer a lot of your questions. All right. Okay. Let's see. Can you also create a price chart with this software? Not exactly. Don't know what you mean. Yes.
Hey, I was wondering if maybe you can show them the execution side on Bookmap.
Yeah. You can trade right from the chart, and you will need to do that to initiate these automated strategies as well. All right. So let's close this up. It's this trade control panel button here. Okay. Click on that, and it opens up the trade control panel here. Okay. Click to enable it. Okay. You note that it's now enabled and unlocked. Okay. We're going to choose a size here, and then you can trade within this window here. Okay. What this allows you to do, and how this is an advantage, is because now you're looking at all the liquidity at these levels. Okay. So very much like the in fact, identical to that chase strategy, or some of these other ones here. If I see an imbalance in the book, for example, at this area here, I can front run this liquidity, okay, because I can see it, and I can trade right from the Bookmap chart. Okay, so you just can click in these areas. See, market's not open, so it's not going to show, and you'll see your orders working at these levels here. Okay. Jason, looking for a standard candlestick chart is what you're talking about. No, no. Historical best bid and offer is the way we display it, and you're looking at this chart. It looks like there's a lot going on, but this is really very objective and pretty simple information. Okay, historical best bid and offer, the transactions on that historical best bid and offer. Okay, how much traded and when and where. Okay, and then we're looking at where they were bidding and offering. That's it. And that's a complete view of the market. It's a pretty about as objective view of the market that I've seen, so now you can gauge the intent of the traders as well as where they actually traded. Okay. Let's see. Other advantages here. Yeah, very clean. Yeah, I mean, it really depends. It depends on how your time frame of trading, your methodology of trading. Okay, I mean, you can see, like, if you're a scalper and you see some of these imbalances, you take advantages of some of those right away, right? But in some of the other areas, let's say you're zoomed out, well, you're going to be looking at more data like this up here. Okay. And you can see, like I said, with the one-click trading here for execution, you can front run some of that liquidity here. Okay, you see high liquidity here, and the probabilities of trading through this, it looks slim. Well, you can place your trade one tick ahead of it to guarantee a fill, and then you can place your protective stop behind it as well. Okay, and that's a nice advantage. Okay. Okay. Well, Bookmap is a platform, Scott. Okay, so you just need a data provider, and Matt, through Rhythmic, CQG, and OEC data is how Matt connects it at Optimus here. Okay, so you just input your credentials and you're up and running, just like any other platform out there.
Right. Just to add on top of what Bruce is saying, so what you can do is use Bookmap with any other order entry platform. So for example, if you have Rhythmic, we can extend Rhythmic credentials to your platform. For example, if you use Sierra or multi-charts or anything of that sort, and we can also and you can also see it here, so you can have them side by side. If you, for example, want to enter your orders in Sierra and look at the, for example, volume profile at Sierra, but at the same time look at the market structure through Bookmap. You can also use the order entry here, or you can use something like RTrader. You can use multi-charts or anything like that. So there's a bunch of data that it works with. OEC data from Game Capital, CQG, Rhythmic, and I believe also TT, Trading Technologies. So that's basically it. You can also have totally two separate platforms with different data feeds, so they don't always have to integrate with one another. Just to answer your question, Scott, it doesn't work with TradeStation, and we personally don't work with NinjaTrader. I assume, okay, this is right now 5:20, so I would like to tell you how you're going to win, basically, the software, okay? So just, because we have only 10 minutes. So here's what you have to do. I created this thread, okay, right here. I'm going to share it with you, okay? So I'm going to post it here. Okay, give me just a second. Okay, this is the thread, okay? And all you have to do, okay, is go register on the forum and ask a question. That's all you have to do. You can also have a comment, as long as it's an intelligent comment. Obviously, Bookmap doesn't know tomorrow's prices, and it doesn't tell you the time. So again, I'm just kidding, but just intelligent questions about the product that you think would help you. And then, the more questions you ask, the more entries there are. If you just separate them to different threads, of course, not all in one place, and you can break it down. And obviously, if you can also answer someone, this would be an entry. And the reason that I do that is, first of all, I want to build a community because I value this product so much. I wanted to, really create a a thread where people help one another in a positive manner, where they, like Bookmap, and they also help each other understand what it is. I know that there's some of you who are beginners in this business. I get it, and I know that some of you are advanced, and I think this is a tool, like every other tool, that you have to learn how to use, play with the parameters, seeing what it is. But basically, in layman terms, maybe I should describe it a little bit more in the beginning, towards the end. But nevertheless, how price comes about is very, very important. How it travels there, something travels from point A to point B. You just see how, but if you understand how it's done, what level it traveled, where it stayed, it gives you an idea of, the importance, and of course the balance of the buyers and the sellers. It's extremely important. I remember specifically one time when I was just playing around, and the markets and the markets was basically dropping. I saw those huge clusters of those circles, red, 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 and all of a sudden it started to go green, 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 more buyers. So that's what it is. And so obviously, just by looking at it visually, it gave me a clue as to the number of buyers and sellers. So that's basically it. Go, if you need to, if you'll go to this thread that I gave you, you'll go to the top, and there's a registration there. Let me give you the, actually, let me give you the entire thing, okay? So you see, maybe you'll see it in both ways. Just bear with me 1 second. Okay. Okay, hold on a second. I want to see how it looks like, because I'm registered. I just want to see something. Give me a second, guys. Okay. Okay. So what you will see when you go to the forum, you'll see at the top it says register. Okay. Let me just give that to you. Just 1 second. Right over here. Okay. Just go and register, and then go back to this thread that I gave you before. You'll need to confirm it. You'll get a confirmation in your email. You'll click on it, and you'll go from there. On our side, I'm going to show you, just 1 second, if you want to trial, because I know the click was not linkable with what Bruce gave you. So let me see if I can give you one here. Just bear with me 1 second. Okay, so I'm going to go.
Here's the link right here. I can input it.
Oh, you can insert it?
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Thanks, Bruce. This is the link.
Sure.
This is where you get a trial with the product. And of course, Bruce, maybe you want to put your email if customers have questions as well, if they want to direct them to you. Maybe you put your email there. And I've seen Bruce help the customers a lot in terms of understanding the product. And again, just once you get the product, it took me, I'll be honest, it took me a couple of months to understand the product, what it represents and everything else. But it really gives you a good idea of price structure and how it travels, and the buyers and sellers, and again, how price comes about. That's about it, guys. Okay, so just remember, I'm just going to say the disclaimer for the last time. There's a substantial risk of loss in futures trading. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Okay, questions from Dave. We are sending questions to you, Matt, or Bruce. You can send me questions, if you want. We're the brokerage, so we're behind this product in terms of connecting you and your account. So if you have questions that you feel more comfortable asking me, go ahead. If there's questions that you feel comfortable with Bruce, please go ahead and and ask Bruce. So it's absolutely fine. In order to win the book, Bookmap. Again, there's 2 prizes that I'm going to give away. One is free lifetime, it's yours forever. And the second one, oh, okay, oh, for the competition, Dave, yeah, you got to ask the question in the forum. You just got to go in there and do it. I think people already started asking questions before. I posted it a while back, and people found it and started it. So you'll see there are questions there already. That's basically it. Okay.
Yeah,
Any other
I mean,
questions for me?
there was something more I just wanted to briefly cover here. You know, keep it really simple, and because a lot of us, like I said a few times here, we're very accustomed to looking at the traded volume. Okay, integrating the order flow from the auction in understanding that is going to be new. Okay, so just bring down the using the heat map here. I would recommend to bring up the large size here and bring down that brightness, and just try to understand the structure, like the configuration of the book and how price reacts at some of those areas. Okay, and then I also want to mention here too, one of the training tools that helped me tremendously was you know, reading these structures, but then going back, and there's a replay mode in Bookmap. Okay, so you can see exactly what unfurled in the market, and you can speed up those markets. Okay, and you can also trade that data if you want, or see where your trades took place from the day you know, after. So that replay mode is key. As not only for debriefing your trading, but also for learning how to understand the order flow here, because speed it up and see many instances of it. So that's going to allow you, for example, let's just take the analogy of these younger poker players out there learning or winning the World Series of Poker in their low 20s. How is that possible? How is it possible to gain decades of experience and play veterans who have been playing for 30 years, 40 years? Well, it's possible because they've played just as many hands, and they've been using gaming for that, and they play them very quickly. And they gained all of that experience, and maybe even more so by just speeding it up. And that replay mode is going to allow you to do that.
Okay. Thank you, Bruce. Okay, guys. If you have, okay, so thank you for your time. It's been an hour. I appreciate you coming here. We had good attendance. I look forward to seeing Bruce here. This was just kind of an introductory, you know, to Bookmap, and I hope to see Bruce here. I'll try to bring him every quarter because I really want to support their efforts. And when I see people that are really trying to help the community of traders without hype and all that nonsense that's associated sometimes with third-party vendors, you know, I want to be supportive of their efforts. I met the guys behind Bookmap, and they're thinkers, they're traders, programmers, and I personally think they build a very nice visual display of products. So again, thank you very much, Bruce. Thank you guys for coming here, and we'll see you shortly.
Okay, thanks, Matt.
See you soon. Okay, thank you. Thank you.